One of the leading causes of death in the United States is often underreported and very misunderstood. It's called chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD. It's the nation's third biggest killer after heart disease and cancer. About 150,000 Americans die of COPD every year. Among women, it is even more deadly than breast and ovarian cancers combined. Well, Ted Koppel focuses on the disease for a report next week on CBS Sunday Morning. His wife, Grace Anne, was given only a few years to live when she was diagnosed 16 years ago. Today, the couple advocates for more research into prevention and treatment. Ted and Grace Anne Koppel join us at the table. 16 years ago, and you were still here, Grace Anne Koppel. So that's good. The doctor was wrong about that.
Yes, I am here beyond my use-by date.
Yes, we are glad about that, and I know Ted's really happy about that. But this is what fascinates me about this disease. I was asking around this morning, most people had never heard of COPD, and to hear that it causes such death in such great numbers, why is it such a mystery that we don't know about it?
I believe it's because of the failure to have a cure. People don't realize that it is highly treatable. Family doctors often don't ask about the symptoms and signs, and patients themselves don't know to say, look, I have a constant cough.
First tell us what happened to you. Yeah, first tell us, how did you know you even had a problem?
I couldn't breathe. I literally could not walk across a space like this room without stopping to catch my breath. I couldn't sleep without pillows propped up behind my back. I couldn't walk up a few steps.
What did you think it was? What did the doctor tell you?
I thought I had a rare disease. It was a great shock to me to find out that my disease was so common, and it's not curable. It's not reversible. We have no medications to stop the progress of the disease.
Were you diagnosed right away?
But it's treatable.
But Grace Anne, were you diagnosed right away? You go to the doctor and he says, you have COPD.
No.
What were you told?
No, I was told that if I lost 10 pounds, I'd feel like a new woman.
Wow.
But it was after 6 weeks after that when I literally was stopped in my tracks. I couldn't do anything.
So, Ted, when you heard this diagnosis,
well, all I can tell you, Norah, is that night, I mean, Grace Anne asked, how long, how much time do I have? And she was told 3 to 5 years, you need to start making end-of-life preparations. We just went back to the hotel that night, held each other all night long, and sobbed. It was devastating. And that's what's, first of all, doctors don't diagnose it as quickly as they should. Then they tell people, you've got an incurable disease. You've only got a couple of years left to live. I mean, if people aren't depressed before they go to the doctor's office, they walk out of there wondering, how are we going to survive?
So describe the treatment, because you've beaten the odds.
The treatment is inhaled medications, similar to the medications used for asthma. And they have to be taken on a daily basis and exactly as prescribed. The other treatment we have that only 3% of Americans have an opportunity to participate in is pulmonary rehabilitation, which is a comprehensive program of knowledge about the disease, exercise, learning about nutrition, learning when you're going to have an exacerbation, which is a lung attack, basically. And that is not available.
I was just going to say, let me emphasize again, 3% of the people who have COPD, and 30 million people in this country. Wow. 16 million have been diagnosed. The estimate is there are another 10 to 15 million who have not yet been diagnosed. We've got to diagnose them. We've got to increase the availability of pulmonary rehabilitation. And here's another little kicker. It is the #3 killer in the country. You know where it stands in terms of funding at NIH? 155th, right?
We need funding.
And it affects more women than men. Does age have anything to do with it?
Well, you're not diagnosed until you're in your 40s. It's a disease of middle age. There is a small proportion of people who have it genetically. Most people are ex-smokers, but 8 in 10 smokers don't get COPD. And 25% of us have never smoked a cigarette.
Wow. Is that why it's underreported?
I think that's one reason. You know, Grace Anne refers to it as the Rodney Dangerfield of diseases. It don't get no respect.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is, because so many smokers do get it, there's a tendency of people to say, hey, you know, you got no one to blame but yourself.
I'm looking forward to your report. A lot of us are next Sunday, on Sunday morning. But because you're interviewing Grace, I wonder what it's like to interview someone who you love so much, number one. And number two, when you know the answers practically to all the questions. What's that like interviewing someone?
It's not easy.
No?
It's not easy.
Yeah, I
but
would bet.
you know, I've spent
So you got a little practice.
practice.
You got a little. Well, we're glad, Grace, that you beat the odds. And you look good, too. You look very good.
Well,
Mrs.
thank you.
Koppel.
So do you.
Thank you. Mine is called Weight Watchers. But okay. Very good to have you
I
at the
just want to
table.
know why Norah has 2 cups and you have none.
Oh, lots of
3,
caffeine.
actually.
Oh, 3
3.
cups, yes.
I'm hydrating. I hydrate.
Yeah, she's better hydrated than I.
By
Good
the
to have
way,
you
if
guys.
anyone has constant coughing, shortness of breath, is an ex-smoker, or who worked in an occupation with a lot of dust and vapors and gas, mention it to your doctor and
right.
get tested.
Very good advice. Thank you.